In the video today, we're answering a viewer question because Rita H asks us, why do we serve ham on Easter? And I'm assuming Rita is an American because in the UK we don't eat ham, we eat lamb. But for all of you Americans watching, let's deal with the ham issue. Under Jewish dietary laws, eating pork in any form is strictly forbidden. Jesus Christ was Jewish, so why, on the anniversary of his resurrection, do people traditionally serve ham? You'll often read it's because ham is a supposedly Christian meat, able to be consumed by Christians, but not certain other prominent religious groups. However, the real reason is simply because it's in season. While modern food storage techniques in supermarkets with efficient and worldwide supply chains shield us from this fact somewhat, like fruits and vegetables, different meats also have seasons, and these depend on a variety of factors, including what the animals were eating and when and where they would be in their growth cycle, and, of course, the availability or lack of refrigeration. With pigs and cows before refrigeration, it simply made sense to slaughter them in the fall. Since it takes a fair amount of time to butcher a beast as large as a hog or a steer, the cold temperatures helped keep the meat from going bad before it could be properly prepared. Another consideration was taste. Shortly before slaughter in the fall, hogs would be fed things like apples and acorns that would greatly improve the flavor of the meat that they would ultimately provide. As one specialty pork producer noted, the tradition of acorn-fed pork goes back millennia. The oak nut was a diet staple because the pigs roamed and rooted about for acorns in the forests of Italy and Spain. An acorn diet is today best known as what makes the prized and pricey Ambon Iberico of Spain so succulent. Butchered in the fall, most hams were prepared and allowed to properly cure over the winter to further develop their flavor. This was a particularly important food source this time of year in some parts of the world where the rest of the stored meat would have already been eaten, with little other meat of any real quality available. This was the case in North America, where the other traditional spring meat, lamb, was and still is less in vogue, which is also why eating ham on Easter in North America is much more popular than other regions where Easter is celebrated. Conversely, like I said, in Europe, lamb is commonly served at Easter, and the tradition actually traces its origins to Jewish Passover feasts. This is also certainly fitting for Easter, with Jesus as the Lamb of God. Born shortly before the holiday, the animal may be slaughtered within 6 to 8 weeks and thus offers a fresh, as opposed to a cured option for Easter protein, when historically other such protein sources were scarce at this time of year. And now for some bonus facts. Eggs are popular at Easter, at least in part due to the fact that spring is the peak season for their production. As a result, eggs have been a part of spring celebrations since long before Easter was even a thing. For example, decorated eggs have been a part of the Iranian New Year, which is observed on the spring equinox, for millennia. And now for another bonus fact. In addition to the refrigeration factor, like pigs, cows are also thought to be tastier when slaughtered in the fall. This is due apparently to the fact that the frost has killed flies and sweetened the grass, so the cows are more comfortable. Among other things, cows slaughtered when fatigued or in distress also negatively impacts the shelf life of the meat. And now for another bonus fact. Turkey is also tastiest in the fall because, as the weather cools and the days become shorter, their hormone levels shift and they fatten up. On the other hand, before industrialization, since most chicken eggs are laid in the spring, those that are allowed to grow into chickens are traditionally slaughtered in the summer. So I really hope you found that video interesting. Hopefully we answered that question for you. If you did like it, please give us a thumbs up below. And do not forget to subscribe. Brand new videos just like this every day of the week. If you're looking for something else to watch, why not check out a new channel I'm putting together called Highlight History. You'll find a link to that below. And as always, thank you for watching.